Welcome, dear listener, to a tranquil journey through tales of the past, of whispers from ancient stones, and of curious encounters that stretch the imagination. As the day begins to gently fade, and the quiet comfort of your space invites you to truly unwind, I invite you to simply let your thoughts gently drift, like autumn leaves carried on a soft, unseen breeze. Tonight, we will explore some of the world's most fascinating enigmas, not with urgency, not with a quickened pace, but with a soft, meandering rhythm, allowing each new discovery, each intriguing idea, to settle upon your awareness, like a gentle dew descending at dusk. Imagine these stories as quiet lullabies, each word a soft, rhythmic cadence against the edges of your consciousness, slowly guiding you toward a state of profound relaxation, and ultimately, into the peaceful, restoring depths of sleep. We begin our quiet exploration with a most peculiar discovery, one that started with a simple wooden box, found nestled amidst the otherwise ordinary, discarded objects of a bustling city, and the world of imagination it so quietly unveiled. Our story, like many stories of unexpected revelations, begins quite recently, in the not-so-distant past of the year 2013. It was a time much like our own, filled with its own unique daily rhythms and routines, moments where the mundane often takes precedence, yet occasionally, if one is simply open to noticing, the truly unexpected can gracefully emerge from the everyday. A Reddit editor, known across the digital landscape by the intriguing username tramstopdan, was simply going about their day, perhaps strolling along a familiar city path, their mind engaged in the ordinary musings of daily life, when something, quite serendipitously, caught their discerning eye. It was a trash bin, an ubiquitous, unassuming receptacle designed for forgotten things, for objects that had served their purpose, and were then cast aside without a second thought. Yet, from its utilitarian depths, something protruded that was decidedly far from ordinary. A strange old wooden suitcase. It seemed to whisper of secrets, its very presence amidst the refuse hinting at narratives untold, at mysteries inadvertently, perhaps even carelessly, cast aside, waiting patiently for a chance encounter to bring them back into the light. A gentle curiosity, a quiet pull that often guides the human spirit towards the unknown, compelled our discoverer to pause. What could such an item, a relic of travel and personal belongings, a vessel designed to safeguard precious contents, be doing in such a place? The intrigue was undeniable, a soft beckoning from a forgotten past, a silent invitation to explore. With a careful hand, and perhaps a moment of slight hesitation, the peculiar find was slowly retrieved from its resting place. Its surface might have been dusty, perhaps weathered and worn by the indifferent passage of time, and the neglect of its previous owner, carrying the subtle, earthy scent of old wood, and the faint aroma of forgotten journeys. As the editor began with a measured and gentle hand, to carefully sift through its contents, a sense of quiet anticipation surely grew, like a slow dawning light illuminating a hidden chamber. What hidden treasures, what forgotten ephemera, what echoes of a creative mind, might lie nestled within this discarded vessel, waiting for a kind soul to uncover them? What slowly unfolded, as each layer was revealed with tender care, was a revelation, not of material wealth or precious jewels that glittered in the light, but of something far more valuable in its own unique way, an incredibly intricate and deeply personal world, meticulously crafted and thoughtfully preserved. The old wooden suitcase was not empty, nor was it filled with simple, unremarkable cast-offs. Instead, it overflowed with a meticulously curated collection of items, each one speaking volumes about the dedicated mind that had conceived and created them. There were hand-drawn maps, not the rough, hasty sketches one might expect from a casual artist, but incredibly detailed cartographic visions. One could almost feel the slight texture of the paper beneath the fingertips, imagine the delicate, precise strokes of ink and pencil, charting lines and contours with an almost obsessive attention to detail, hinting at journeys both real and profoundly imagined. Perhaps they delineated forgotten lands, or mapped out speculative territories that existed only within the cartographer's vibrant inner imagination, an unseen world brought to life. The lines would have been precise, the shading delicate, each intricate contour inviting the eye to linger and to wander, losing itself for a moment in the imagined geography. These were not mere doodles, but profound expressions of deep focus and unwavering artistic dedication, a silent testament to a singular vision. Alongside these captivating maps were intricate drawings of mechanical devices. One could envision the careful cross-hatching, the meticulous attention to perspective and proportion, the elaborate schematics of finely tuned gears, complex levers, and interconnected mechanisms, all suggesting sophisticated contraptions that seemed to hum with silent, potential energy. These were perhaps born from an inventor's fervent dream, a desire to create machines that defy the conventional, or a visionary's meticulous blueprint, suggesting a mind that delighted in the subtle complexities of engineering and design, dreaming of possibilities beyond its time. These certainly weren't crude, spontaneous drawings. They were the undeniable product of careful, patient thought and dedicated, unwavering artistry, each precise line a testament to an inner world of profound innovation. Then, as the quiet exploration continued, the contents took a subtle turn towards the truly enigmatic, hinting at possibilities that stretched far beyond the terrestrial. Strange images began to emerge, drawings that, in their stylized forms and profound symbolism, seemed to depict what could only be described as an extraterrestrial event. Perhaps there was sleek, unfamiliar spacecraft, rendered with an artistic interpretation that blended curiosity with a subtle undertone of wonder, or figures of beings from beyond our known world, their forms imbued with both the alien and the curiously familiar. These images, more than anything else within the collection, would have added a profound layer of mystery, inviting deep contemplation on the vastness of the universe, the unknown intelligences that might reside within its boundless expanse, and our own humble, yet significant, place within that cosmic tapestry. But perhaps the most compelling elements, the very heart and soul of this meticulously crafted collection, were the numerous pages of writings. These were not casual notes, nor fleeting, undeveloped observations. They were extensive, deeply considered texts that delved with remarkable intensity into a possible government conspiracy. The prose would have woven intricate narratives of hidden truths, of suppressed information, of secret operations, conducted in the hushed shadows of power, meticulously detailed and passionately argued. And inextricably intertwined with these accounts were vivid tales of alien sightings, personal testimonies, or perhaps richly imagined encounters, stories that sought to bridge the perceived gap between human experience and the boundless, sometimes unsettling, possibilities of the cosmos. It was a collection that, taken as a whole, spoke volumes of an individual's intense, almost consuming fascination, a personal, solitary quest to understand the unseen forces that just might, be subtly shaping our shared reality. The sheer volume and consistent, meticulous detail of this collection truly suggested a profound dedication, a singular, unwavering focus on a specific, deeply held narrative, a quiet testament to an individual's journey of discovery and belief. The Reddit editor, tramstopdan, upon discovering this remarkable trove, spent several quiet days poring over these extraordinary pieces in profound solitude. Each meticulously drawn map, each intricately detailed mechanical drawing, each evocative image, and each compelling page of text would have been a puzzle piece, inviting deep thought, careful consideration, and perhaps a sense of awe at the depth of another's conviction and dedication. What did all of this truly mean? Was it a brilliant work of artistic fiction, a deeply immersive creative endeavor that blurred the lines between imagination and reality? Or was there, in the creator's earnest mind, something more profound, something truly revelatory at play? The sheer volume and consistent detail undeniably suggested a profound dedication, a singular, almost obsessive focus on a particular narrative or a deeply held belief system. Eventually, perhaps seeking broader perspectives, or simply hoping for a collective understanding that might illuminate the deeper meanings within, the findings were gently shared with the wider Reddit community. It was a quiet casting of a line into the vast, interconnected ocean of shared human knowledge. A subtle hope to find others who might resonate with this peculiar discovery, who might possess insights or connections that could help to decipher its deeper meaning and purpose. And as is often the way with such truly intriguing mysteries, when presented to a collective mind, the community did indeed respond, not with a clamor, but with a thoughtful, engaging hum of inquiry and shared curiosity. It wasn't long in the online discourse that followed before subtle, fascinating connections began to form, almost as if a collective puzzle was being assembled piece by piece, gradually revealing a larger picture. Individuals, drawing upon their own vast knowledge bases and their unique cultural insights, started to quietly piece together the narrative thread running through the suitcase's contents. The writings, it became apparent, were making direct and unmistakable references to an ancient biblical story, a revered text known through the ages as the Book of Ezekiel. This realization, like a soft beam of light penetrating a dimly lit chamber, began to illuminate the profound purpose and the guiding inspiration behind the suitcase's mysterious handcrafted contents. The collection, it seemed, was not a mere collection of random objects, but a meticulously constructed, deeply personal conspiracy theory, crafted not by a collaborative group, but by a single dedicated individual. This person, it became clear, harbored a deep, almost obsessive fascination with this particular biblical book, believing with an unwavering conviction that the vivid events described within its ancient pages were not merely symbolic or metaphorical spiritual narratives, but rather a profound, albeit ancient, account of an actual alien encounter. They had dedicated countless hours, perhaps years of their life, to illustrating, interpreting, and expanding upon this deeply held belief, translating their inner vision into a tangible, artistic, and profoundly personal testament to their convictions. And so the mystery of the wooden suitcase, once a strange protrusion from a city trash bin, found its quiet and rather poignant resolution. It did not in the end hold irrefutable proof of a widespread government cover-up, nor did it offer definitive, incontrovertible evidence of an extraterrestrial event that would rewrite our history books in a dramatic flash. What it did reveal, however, was something equally profound in its own unique way: the immense amount of painstaking work, the incredible singular dedication, and the imaginative, expansive spirit of one individual. It stands, even now, as a silent testament to the enduring human desire to seek deeper meaning, to connect ancient narratives with the compelling questions of our modern world, and to find extraordinary possibilities in the seemingly ordinary objects and stories that surround us. It is a work that, even without the dramatic reveal of a grand, world-altering conspiracy, can be looked upon and appreciated in its own special way for its unique artistic merit, its deep personal commitment, and the quiet, contemplative wonder it so gently evokes in all who encounter it. It reminds us of the power of belief and the boundless capacity of the human imagination to shape and interpret the world. From the intricate imaginings of a single mind, held within the confines of a forgotten suitcase, we now gently shift our focus to a colossal, silent sentinel of the sands, the great Sphinx of Egypt. This monumental structure, with its majestic lion's body and serene human face, has stood guard over the Giza Plateau for countless millennia, witnessing the ceaseless flow of time, the rise and fall of empires, and the quiet passage of generations. It has remained a silent, enduring observer, patiently holding secrets within its weathered stone. Its very presence evokes a profound sense of timeless mystery, inviting us to ponder its true origins, its deeper purpose, and the hands that so painstakingly shaped its colossal form. When the ancient Greek civilization, in their own era of flourishing thought, artistic innovation, and intrepid exploration, first ventured into the enigmatic, sun-drenched land of Egypt, they were met with sights that must have profoundly stirred their souls, challenging their preconceptions and expanding their understanding of human capability. They bore witness to incredible methods of construction, to megalithic structures of immense scale that defied easy explanation, standing as silent giants against the azure sky. They beheld advanced cities humming with an ordered life, and encountered technologies that were in many ways far beyond their own contemporary understanding. They discovered a civilization that had made astonishing strides in mathematics and philosophy, leaving them not only completely intrigued by this profound foreign culture, but also eagerly working to classify and comprehend what they saw, often providing these wonders with the names by which we still know them today, filtered through the linguistic and cultural understanding of the Greeks. And so it was, in this spirit of cultural exchange and interpretation, when these Greek travelers came across the immense stone structure that stood proudly on the plateau, its form commanding the horizon. It depicted the powerful, recumbent body of a lion, merging gracefully and seamlessly with the calm, knowing face of a man. This image, so striking and iconic in its grandeur, instantly resonated with tales from their own rich mythology, stories of the enigmatic riddle-posing Sphinx, recorded in the struggles of Oedipus, tales that had long been woven into the fabric of their cultural identity. With a respectful nod to their own vibrant culture, and seeing a powerful reflection within the awe-inspiring Egyptian marvel, they christened this magnificent creation the Sphinx. It was a name that stuck, a linguistic bridge spanning two ancient worlds, yet perhaps, as we shall gently uncover, it inadvertently obscured some deeper truths about the monument itself, placing it within a framework that was not originally its own. Beyond this initial encounter and the cultural act of naming the monument, for a very long time, little else was truly known about the strange, silent structure. Its true age, its original, intended purpose, its deepest secrets remained veiled in the mists of antiquity, obscured by the sands of time and the passage of forgotten eras. However, in our modern era, with ever-advancing archaeological techniques and the patient, meticulous work of research, new evidence has begun to softly emerge from the dust of ages, quietly challenging long-held assumptions and inviting a profound re-evaluation. This fresh perspective suggests that it is entirely possible, even probable, that the Sphinx structure itself is far, far older than the supposed Egyptian writings and official documents have, for so long, led us to believe. The implications are vast, extending far beyond a simple recalculation of dates. And so tonight, as the world outside grows still, and the quiet embrace of evening settles around us, we will gently delve into this compelling and subtle evidence concerning the Great Sphinx. We will approach it with an open mind, allowing the whispers of the past to softly guide our thoughts, and quietly ask ourselves a profound, almost revolutionary question. Does the Great Sphinx of Egypt, this enduring iconic symbol of ancient power, actually predate the very Egyptian civilization we have always historically associated it with? It is a question that, if answered affirmatively, could fundamentally reshape our understanding of history, of the timeline of human endeavor, and the astonishing capabilities of cultures long forgotten. One of the main reasons, dear listener, why the Sphinx has traditionally been dated to its current age, an age often cited as approximately 4,511 years, is not due to the rigorous, scientifically precise methods of carbon dating, nor any other universally reliable efforts made to accurately measure its precise temporal origins. Instead, this widely accepted age stems primarily from ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics and meticulously crafted official documents. These venerable texts, written long ago and revered as historical records, purported to detail that the Sphinx was supposedly created during the glorious reign of Egypt's fourth dynasty, under the supervision of a specific pharaoh. For generations, these documents were accepted as definitive historical records, cementing the Sphinx's place within a specific, well-defined chapter of dynastic Egyptian history. However, the sands of time, in their slow and ceaseless shifting, sometimes possess a remarkable ability to reveal unexpected truths, to subtly unveil hidden layers of history. It was discovered relatively recently that these foundational documents, which had shaped our understanding for so long, could very well not be entirely legitimate, casting a new light on their veracity. A quiet and rather unsettling revelation emerged. It is now believed that the pharaoh of the Fourth Dynasty may have deliberately and quite cunningly forged these records. The sole purpose, it is speculated, was to claim credit for the monumental work of a past, perhaps even prehistoric, pharaoh, one whose legacy might have faded into the distant unrecorded past. This practice, it's worth noting, was unfortunately not entirely uncommon amongst the powerful pharaohs of Egypt. The rewriting of history, the appropriation of past achievements, and the desire to bask in the reflected glory of a predecessor's lifelong efforts were sadly at times an intrinsic part of the dynastic game of power, legacy, and self-aggrandizement. This fascinating and rather subversive insight was not uncovered by simply taking a closer, renewed inspection at the Sphinx itself, nor by deciphering new, previously unknown text directly from its monumental stone. Rather, it came to light through quiet, patient, and often painstaking discoveries made in the undisturbed tombs of long-deceased kings of Egypt, far removed from the public eye. It was within these sacred resting places, often sealed for millennia, far from the bustling Giza plateau, that the subtle clues of historical revision, of deliberate misattribution, began to slowly surface, like ancient whispers emerging from the deep. The groundbreaking author Robert Temple was among the first to gently posit this truly intriguing theory, softly stirring the long-settled waters of Egyptology with his compelling research. And as the research deepened and expanded, there appeared to be an increasing, almost overwhelming body of nuanced evidence, suggesting that the magnificent Sphinx we gaze upon today was actually a monument grand and awe-inspiring in its own right, but one whose original form and profound purpose were perhaps subtly altered, or even completely recarved, by a pharaoh of the Fourth Dynasty, purely for the audacious purpose of laying claim to the colossal works of those who came long before him. Imagine the quiet ambition, the subtle reshaping of historical narrative, all etched, not into scrolls but into the very enduring fabric of stone, into the very monument itself. Evidence for this truly intriguing and transformative theory can be found when we take a moment to analyze a very specific visual aspect of the Sphinx, its head-to-body ratio. As one observes the magnificent scale of the lion's body, the sheer enormity of its stone form, its immense power and majesty, a curious and rather noticeable disproportion becomes apparent. The head, though beautifully sculpted and undeniably serene in its countenance, appears noticeably small, almost diminutive, in comparison to the vast, powerful expanse of its leonine torso. This visual anomaly has led many who have beheld the Sphinx for the first time, or even those who have studied it for years, to muse quietly that perhaps the head was not originally sculpted in its current proportion. Instead, it is theorized that it could have been ground down, or more likely, painstakingly recarved, from a much more massive, perhaps older structure that originally stood there. It hints at a profound transformation, a deliberate change in identity and form over the immense span of the eons. The second compelling piece of evidence gently guides our attention to the ancient hieroglyphics found at the Temple of Theptufa. These ancient inscriptions, etched into stone, with a delicate, masterful precision, outline in remarkable detail that the original, deeply revered god of ancient Giza, the deity to whom this sacred ground was dedicated, was none other than Anubis. Anubis, often depicted as a jackal, or as a man with the distinctive head of a jackal, was the profound guardian of the dead, intimately associated with the sacred rites of mummification and the mysteries of the afterlife, a powerful and ancient protector. What is particularly striking and deeply significant is that accounts and images of Anubis in his distinctive jackal form are drawn all throughout this ancient site, consistently depicted in the very same regal and recumbent pose as the powerful body of the Sphinx. Crucially, within these detailed depictions and accompanying texts at the ancient city, there is no mention whatsoever of a lion of any kind being associated with this central deity or with this specific revered pose. This strongly suggests a powerful, undeniable connection to the jackal-headed god, Anubis, rather than to a lion, as the original inspiration for the colossal body. Interestingly enough, this exact same pose, mirroring the powerful, recumbent body of the Sphinx, was later discovered in one of the most historically significant archaeological finds of all time, the tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun. This particular tomb held a special reverence, not just for its treasures, but for its profound historical significance, for it was one of the only tombs of an Egyptian pharaoh ever discovered that had remained completely undisturbed since its burial, a pristine, untouched window into an ancient world. Within the sacred confines of King Tut's tomb, a shrine dedicated to Anubis was found, and within that shrine, a captivating miniature statue. It demonstrated an exact scale, a perfectly proportioned replica of the Sphinx statue, yet with a distinct and crucially different feature. The head was clearly that of a jackal, unmistakably intended to represent Anubis. This overwhelming evidence, emerging from such a remarkably preserved and historically significant context, strongly suggests that the original colossal statue at the ancient city of Giza was indeed intended to be that of a jackal-headed Anubis, rather than the lion body with a human head we commonly associate with it today. It points to a profound reinterpretation, a deliberate alteration of identity, a silent reshaping of history through stone. So this naturally leads us to a quiet, yet deeply significant ponderance. From where then do we derive the deeply ingrained idea of a human head atop a lion's body, and indeed the very name Sphinx itself? The truth, as it gently unfolds, is that the only reason this majestic statue is referred to as a sphinx is purely because of the rich, captivating tapestries of old Greek mythologies. Tales such as those involving Oedipus, woven into the fabric of Greek epic poetry and drama, speak of a mythical creature, a powerful lion with the head of a man, an enigmatic being known as a sphinx, famous for its riddles and its deadly encounters. But here lies the profound distinction, dear listener. No such specific symbol, no creature explicitly named sphinxes in this combined form, exists within the indigenous belief systems, the religious texts, or the iconographies of ancient Egypt. The name itself is an external imposition, a cultural lens placed upon a pre-existing marvel, a label given by observers from a different land, perhaps inadvertently obscuring its true original identity. This realization, though subtle, carries significant weight. It implies with a quiet certainty that the hieroglyphic texts which describe the Sphinx with a human head, ostensibly to represent the pharaoh of the Fourth Dynasty, were indeed nothing more than a carefully crafted forgery. It suggests a deliberate act. This possibility, dear listener, is truly transformative, profoundly altering our historical landscape. It could very well mean that not only was the creation of the Sphinx older than the dynastic reigns of Egypt, the very foundation of what we call Egyptian civilization, but that perhaps the structure is even older than the Egyptian civilizations themselves. Imagine a monument of such immense scale and artistry, standing silently through the immense stretches of time, predating the very culture we have always inextricably linked it to. It shifts our understanding of origins, prompting us to consider that the skilled hands that shaped its colossal form belonged to an even more ancient people, a civilization whose story we are only just beginning to softly uncover, whose legacy lies patiently beneath the sands of time. The Sphinx, in this light, becomes an even more profound enigma, a silent guardian of secrets that span not just millennia, but perhaps epochs of human endeavor, whispering of a forgotten past. As we gently contemplate the profound age of the Sphinx, allowing its potential antiquity to softly push the boundaries of our accepted historical timelines, another quiet set of discoveries in ancient Egypt begins to weave an equally fascinating narrative, hinting at a world far more interconnected and mysterious than we often imagine. These findings pertain to the deep reverence the ancient Egyptians held for animals, a reverence that extended far beyond simple companionship or utilitarian purpose. It is well known amongst Egyptologists, those dedicated scholars who meticulously unravel the threads of this ancient land, that the early Egyptians treasured animals of all kinds. They believed these magnificent creatures were not merely living beings, but rather tangible, living representations of their powerful gods, imbued with sacred qualities and embodying divine attributes, walking embodiments of spiritual power. It is due to this profound and enduring obsession with the animal kingdom that truly strange and wondrous archaeological finds have surfaced all across ancient Egyptian cities, adding layers of intrigue to their already rich history. Imagine, dear listener, structures unlike any expected, and bones from animals that originated from all around the world, even from geographical areas previously believed to have been completely outside the operational trade routes of their specific time. These discoveries have come to be described, with a touch of evocative imagery, as Egyptian zoos, although they were likely far more than mere collections of exotic beasts. They speak to a sophisticated understanding of animal husbandry, perhaps even early veterinary science, and a spiritual connection that transcended mere geographical boundaries, reaching across vast distances. Strange hieroglyphics and intricate designs have also come forward, quietly adding to this compelling body of evidence. These ancient artistic expressions, carefully etched into stone or painted on papyrus, show, with remarkable clarity, that not only were the early Egyptians capable of acquiring and maintaining strange exotic beasts from far-flung corners of the world, but that they possibly possessed something even more astonishing, an extinct species, a creature of immense power and majesty, the woolly mammoth. The very idea stretches the imagination, inviting us to consider a world where ancient Egyptians coexisted with, or at the very least had access to the remains of, these magnificent giants of the Ice Age, a profound connection to an earlier, colder epoch. One of the most remarkable of these discoveries was a 6,000-year-old ancient Egyptian cemetery that was uncovered, not filled solely with human remains, as one might expect, but rather overflowing with the astonishing remains of wild animals. It was a collection that whispered of a global reach, containing creatures from all around the world, species that by conventional historical understanding should have been utterly unattainable for the early grasp of man for thousands of years to come. Skeletons of elegant ostriches, powerful crocodiles, stealthy leopards, and other exotic animals were found nestled alongside what appeared to be man-made pools of water, hinting at carefully designed enclosures for living creatures. Large, fenced-in cages were also evident, suggesting meticulous care and containment practices. And perhaps most poignantly, the site revealed what might have been an ancient animal hospital, a place of healing and care, filled with the delicate evidence of veterinary procedures, removed molars, various teeth, sharp claws, and even traces of animal surgeries, painting a picture of a civilization deeply connected to, and remarkably skilled in the care of, the animal world. Though the immense importance of animals regarding the Egyptian religion was widely known and understood, the sheer evidence of the global reach of the species available to them, and especially the inclusion of species long believed to be extinct at that specific historical juncture, has remained a profound mystery. Even the most elite and brilliant archaeologists and Egyptologists have, at times, struggled to fully explain this phenomenon, admitting to a quiet bewilderment. It sits as a quiet challenge to our conventional understanding of ancient trade routes, technological capabilities, and even the very timeline of global animal extinction, prompting a re-evaluation of our historical frameworks. This intriguing puzzle becomes even more profound when we consider a widely held belief among historians and archaeologists across the world that the oldest civilizations to truly emerge, with their complex social structures, their organized societies, and their monumental achievements, existed merely 10,000 years ago. Yet, as we turn our gaze to the even deeper annals of time, the evidence in the fossil record tells a distinctly different, much longer story. It shows with quiet certainty that the modern-day intelligent human, our very species, Homo sapiens, has been walking upon this earth for more than 50,000 years. So this prompts a very gentle, yet deeply significant question that echoes through the ages. If intelligent human beings have been present for such an immense span of time, for at least 5 times the duration of recorded civilization, why is it then that the oldest recognizable cities, the first true cradles of complex civilization, don't start appearing until the past 10,000 years? What transpired in that vast gulf of 40,000 years? What silent events shaped the course of human development? The answer, or at least a compelling part of it, might indeed have a profound connection to the evidence of those extinct animals recorded in ancient Egypt, and a truly cataclysmic event that fundamentally reshaped our world. The woolly mammoth, that majestic symbol of the Ice Age, with its enormous tusks and shaggy coat, was one of many distinct megafauna, the colossal animals that roamed ancient landscapes, that went extinct at around the same time in the fossil record, precisely around 10,000 years ago. This period, often referred to as the Younger Dryas impact event, marked a great vanishing, a widespread and profound disappearance of many giants of the earth. These magnificent extinct species included, alongside the powerful woolly mammoth, the formidable mastodon, the impressive short-faced bear, the colossal giant ground sloth, and many, many others, each a silent casualty of a changing world. In fact, the famous naturalist Charles Darwin, during his seminal visits to the areas near the Galapagos Islands, made a discovery that quietly underscored the recency of this mass extinction. When he originally unearthed the bones of the giant ground sloth, they were so remarkably fresh, so perfectly preserved, that he initially believed them to still be a living species of megafauna, roaming the remote landscapes. It was a testament to how close in time this grand disappearance had occurred, a poignant reminder of a world that once was, abruptly altered by forces almost beyond comprehension. So, the quiet, persistent question arises again, like a gentle ripple in still water. Why was it then that around 10,000 years ago, all of these incredible species, these giants of the earth, suddenly went extinct? What singular force, or what powerful combination of forces, could have wrought such a profound and widespread change across the entire globe? The scientific evidence, gathered with meticulous care and patient observation over decades, points partly to a powerful confluence of three strange and powerful reasons: immense widespread fires that consumed vast tracts of land, a massive and devastating flood that reshaped continents, and a sudden, precipitous ice age that brought a chilling grip to the planet. The evidence for these three truly monumental events is widely known and accepted by archaeologists and research scientists, found indelibly etched in the fossil record across the globe. It shows with a quiet and unsettling clarity that all around the earth there appeared to be massive fires, consuming vast landscapes with an unyielding intensity. These infernos were in turn often followed by a rapid and dramatic cooling event, a sudden chilling that, astonishingly, took only about 4 decades to fully manifest, plunging the world into a colder, harsher climate. Alongside these global shifts, certain regions were repeatedly hit by numerous tsunamis and immense flooding, inundating coastal areas and deluging vast inland regions, forever altering the geography of our world. Many experts had originally speculated, with careful consideration and cautious hypothesis, that perhaps a massive meteorite strike, a celestial impact of immense scale and unimaginable power, could have been the singular cause of such a profound and multifaceted phenomenon. However, at the time of the original publications of these theories, no large craters, no definitive impact points supporting such a grand hypothesis had yet been discovered. The evidence for the consequences was compelling, but the smoking gun, the definitive cause, remained elusive, hidden beneath the surface. Yet, as with all persistent mysteries, time often reveals its hidden truths, slowly, patiently, like a tide receding to expose what lies beneath. Just this year, a quiet and awe-inspiring discovery was made. A massive crater, lying hidden and undisturbed beneath an immense ice sheet in Greenland. This discovery unveiled a tremendous impact point, a colossal scar on the Earth's surface where a meteor could indeed have struck, generating a force almost beyond human comprehension. The calculations suggest it would have unleashed more than 700 megatons of force. To put that into a gently unsettling perspective, dear listener, such a force would have been equivalent to the simultaneous detonation of 140 fully efficient nuclear strikes, each one powered by the Tsar Bomber nuclear warhead, a weapon famously capable of not only breaking through the Earth's stratosphere, but also generating enough dust and debris in the atmosphere to cause a full-on nuclear winter, altering global climate for years. Imagine the profound, devastating implications. Any human civilization existing at that time, regardless of how advanced or sophisticated its technologies, would have been completely and utterly wiped off the face of the earth by such a massive and catastrophic meteor strike. It speaks to a moment of immense destructive power that could have reset the course of life on our planet, erasing civilizations and forcing humanity to begin anew. And here lies the most compelling connection, the quiet intertwining of these disparate threads of evidence. All of these catastrophic events, the massive extinction of megafauna, the global fires, the sudden cooling, the tsunamis, and the immense impact event, occurred not only around the same time as this grand extinction, but also, crucially, around the very same period that the oldest civilizations we now know would have been constructed. It is a striking temporal convergence that invites deep contemplation. Could this then be the subtle, yet powerful evidence that perhaps the Great Pyramids and the majestic Sphinx, as well as many other incredible advancements made in megalithic structures and sophisticated creations that defy easy explanation, could actually, more accurately, stem from the diligent and ingenious efforts of human beings from before this truly catastrophic event? Could the Egyptians in this profound narrative have been merely the surviving peoples, picking up the pieces where a previous, perhaps even more advanced, humanity had left off, inheriting remnants of an older, grander legacy? Given the incredible and accelerating advancements we have made in the past 10,000 years alone, since the last recognized reset of civilization, this theory suggests a truly breathtaking possibility that the humans who existed before this cataclysmic event could have been significantly more advanced than we are even today, possessing knowledge and technology we are only now beginning to rediscover or even imagine. It opens the mind to the idea that the old stories of gods and kings passed down through generations, those ancient myths often dismissed as mere fables or allegories, could very well have been not just abstract narratives, but perhaps faded echoes, distant memories of the technological advancements of a previous era, before humanity was tragically forced to reset due to such an unimaginable tragedy. It invites us to consider a much grander, much deeper tapestry of human history, quietly waiting to be unraveled, a history that speaks of resilience, loss, and the enduring human spirit. From the vast stretches of ancient history and the potential of forgotten civilizations, let us now gently descend into the silent, mysterious depths of our own planet's oceans. Here, in the profound darkness where sunlight fears to tread, where pressures are immense and life takes on fantastical forms, scientists have stumbled upon a truly strange and unique anomaly, one that has been quite whimsically, yet aptly, dubbed with the evocative moniker, the hot tub of despair. It is a name that hints at both its unusual, almost alien nature and its inherent silent danger to life that might inadvertently wander into its embrace. This peculiar discovery, an underwater phenomenon that can only be described as a true underwater lake, was made by diligent research scientists exploring the deep sea. It rests some 3,300 feet below the tranquil surface of the sea, nestled within the vast expanse of the Gulf of Mexico. What makes this lake so profoundly unusual is its composition. It appears to be so incredibly toxic that it effectively creates a large biohazard zone, rendering the surrounding region, for all intents and purposes, a vast desert-like area of the ocean floor, starkly uninhabited by the usual vibrant tapestry of bustling marine life. It stands as an oasis of death within a sea of life. Imagine, if you will, a lake existing within an ocean, a liquid body within a larger liquid body. This deep-sea pool is distinctively visible, its boundaries clearly discernible from the surrounding seawater, almost as if an invisible barrier holds it in place. It appears visibly heavier and more condensed, more viscous than the water that gently flows around it, giving it the unmistakable appearance of a naturally forming lake, complete with its own eerie shoreline, its own submerged depths, all existing beneath the immense pressure and profound darkness of the deep ocean. It is a world within a world, a paradox of liquid forms, silent and still. Through careful and patient study, employing advanced sensors and sampling techniques, research scientists have discovered the secret to this lake's strange and enduring existence. This remarkable body of water is filled with extremely salty forms of brine, waters much saltier, much denser than the typical seawater surrounding it, a supersaturated solution. And intimately intertwined within this hypersaline solution is a rare form of dissolved methane gas. The combination is lethally potent. Any unsuspecting sea creature that by chance or misstep by the gentle currents of the deep falls inside this underwater lake finds itself instantly, irrevocably, rendered lifeless. It is a silent toxic trap, a testament to the diverse and sometimes dangerous chemistries that exist within the very core of our planet. This fascinating and somewhat unsettling discovery was brought to light by a dedicated research team hailing from San Pedro, utilizing sophisticated underwater research vessels equipped with high-resolution cameras, robotic arms, and sensitive sampling tools. They gently navigated the dark, uncharted depths, assisting in the crucial gathering of information surrounding underwater biology and geology. Although they were more than surprised, perhaps even awestruck, by the sudden appearance of this bizarre underwater lake and its profound toxicity, they were also well aware of similar, albeit perhaps less dramatic, phenomena found in other isolated corners of the world's oceans, often described by the scientific community as brine pools, pockets of dense, super salty water. The discovery of this unique brine pool, with its distinctive characteristics and its profound ecological impact, has helped to softly shed new light into the intricate formation processes of such phenomena. It has also offered valuable insights into the profound effect these unusual aquatic environments have on the surrounding marine biology and their delicate habitats, creating unique ecological niches on its periphery. It appears remarkably that an artificial walls of mussels living steadfastly and thriving on the very edge of the forming briny waters plays a crucial protective role. These mussels, through their collective presence and growth, help to keep the underwater lake intact, aiding in its remarkable ability to maintain its distinct form and sharp boundaries within the fluid, ever-moving expanse of the ocean. This cooperative behavior, a silent natural engineering feat, a testament to life's adaptability, has never before been observed in this particular region, adding another layer of wonder and mystery to this deep-sea enigma. Interestingly enough, dear listener, despite all the valuable information that has been carefully gathered about these brine pools, researchers continue to study these occurrences with a sense of quiet fascination and persistent inquiry. They find them to be truly very strange underwater anomalies, profound in their rarity and their unique ecological impacts on the abyssal plains. The scientific quest continues, with the gentle hope that if more of these crater-like structures, these silent submerged lakes, can be discovered in the near future, it might help to shed even more light into the still unexplainable nature of these underwater lakes and their profound effect on the intricate web of marine biology that thrives in the vast, often unseen depths of our oceans. They are silent sentinels, holding secrets of Earth's complex geological and biological processes, waiting patiently to be understood. As we gently ascend from the silent, pressure-laden world beneath the waves, our gaze now turns upward, toward the vast, often unpredictable canvas of the sky. Here, amidst the grandeur of our atmosphere, another intriguing phenomenon occasionally manifests. a visual mystery that has captured human attention for centuries. The ethereal flashes of light that sometimes appear before, during, or even shortly after an earthquake. These luminous glows are often referred to, rather poetically and descriptively, as earthquake lights. It has often been reported, through countless personal accounts woven into the rich tapestry of human history, that during the terrifying and profound upheaval of an earthquake, people have observed strange, luminous lights appearing in the sky directly above them. These reports, often filled with a mixture of awe, bewilderment, and sometimes fear, seem to consistently coincide with geographical areas that are experiencing tremendous tectonic stress. Such regions are typically characterized by intense seismic activity, where the Earth's mighty plates are grinding and shifting beneath our feet, or near areas prone to powerful volcanic eruptions, where the very core of our planet expresses its raw, fiery energy, sending tremors through the land. For a long time, the scientific community, grounded in empirical observation and logical deduction, offered a more prosaic explanation for these peculiar sightings. Many researchers originally believed that these flashes were nothing more than visual hallucinations. They were thought to be transient optical phenomena, perhaps born from the immense psychological stress and terror experienced by those witnessing the raw power of an earthquake, leading individuals to believe they were seeing strange lights in the sky, when in reality, there was nothing there. It was an understandable attempt to rationalize the unknown, to fit a bewildering, frightening experience into a familiar, explainable framework of human perception. However, as our capabilities for observation and our understanding of geophysical processes have steadily grown, especially in the wake of recent well-documented seismic activity captured by modern technology, the occurrence of these mysterious lights has been undeniably proven. What was once dismissed as subjective hallucination is now recognized as a genuine, albeit still largely unexplained, natural phenomenon. Cameras have captured their fleeting brilliance, witnesses have described them with remarkable and consistent detail, and scientific inquiry has embraced them as a legitimate, intriguing area of study, adding another layer of wonder to our planet's complexities. Yet, despite this confirmation, the fundamental question remains, lingering like a gentle mist: what truly causes these strange fleeting lights? To this very day, no one truly knows the definitive answer, and the theories as to how they are caused range wildly, from the purely scientific and geological to the more speculative and even, for some, the supernatural. Some, perhaps moved by the sheer, unexplainable beauty and uncanny timing of these luminous events, have even gone as far as claiming that perhaps the lights are more supernatural in nature, hinting at forces beyond our current scientific grasp. These more enigmatic sightings, particularly those that appeared moments before an earthquake even began to tremor, before the ground had even begun its first subtle shudder, add a layer of profound mystery, almost as if the earth itself is signaling its impending upheaval with a silent celestial beacon, a warning from the deep. Among the various scientific explanations proposed throughout the years, one theory, known as the positive holes model, suggested that these earthquake lights might be caused by the sudden ionization of air, perhaps triggered by the immense pressures and electrical energies released during deep seismic shifts within the Earth's crust. However, as with many nascent scientific hypotheses, which are constantly tested and refined, evidence for this particular theory has over time been largely dismissed. No consistent or compelling supporting proof has been provided to solidify its standing within the rigorous scientific discourse, leaving the mystery open for further investigation. And so the earthquake lights remain, for now, a beautiful and humbling mystery. They remind us of the vast, intricate workings of our planet, and how much there is yet to gently uncover about the natural world around us. despite all our advancements. They are brief, luminous whispers from the deep earth, inviting us to contemplate the wonders that unfold, even in moments of profound natural power, and to embrace the quiet beauty of the unknown, the unexplained phenomena that continue to grace our skies and stir our imaginations. As our minds softly journey through the mysteries of our own planet, from the ancient stones of Egypt to the shimmering depths of the ocean and the enigmatic lights in the sky, we now turn our attention to a story that transcends earthly bounds, reaching into the boundless starry expanse of the cosmos. It is a tale often whispered in certain circles, a narrative that speaks of profound encounters and hidden presences, venturing into the realm of the truly extraordinary. This story revolves around an alien being known by the intriguing name of Valiant Thor. It is a narrative that has quietly woven itself into the fabric of modern mythology, blurring the line. The extraterrestrial community, a diverse group of researchers, experiencers, and enthusiasts who dedicate themselves to these unexplained phenomena, first became widely aware of this remarkable story back in 1967. It was then that a book titled Stranger at the Pentagon was published, penned by the Reverend Frank E. Strangers, detailing what it claimed was information regarding a possible extraterrestrial visitor who purportedly worked alongside military intelligence officials right there within the hallowed, secretive walls of the Pentagon in the United States. For a long time, the majority of people believed that perhaps the book was nothing more than an imaginative hoax, a fascinating piece of speculative fiction designed merely to intrigue and entertain, stirring the pot of public imagination. However, in more recent times, news has surfaced, softly challenging this initial skepticism, hinting at the potential legitimacy of the book's extraordinary claims. This shift in perception occurred when the story was, remarkably, authenticated by a whistleblower named Phil Schneider. Schneider, whose own life was touched by the edges of these mysterious narratives, and who claimed to have direct knowledge, not only agreed that the book was a factual description of the events regarding the Pentagon, but he went further, claiming a personal and rather profound connection, that the extraterrestrial known as Valiant Thor had actually worked alongside his own father, a respected figure in military circles. It was a profound and deeply personal validation of a story that had long been shrouded in doubt, giving it a new, unsettling weight. Phil Schneider, in an act of brave revelation and conviction, went on record and claimed that he possessed a unique and pivotal photograph of Valiant Thor. He courageously showed this photograph to many different people during his public lectures, offering what he believed was irrefutable, tangible proof of his claims. The picture, he stated, had been taken way back in the depths of World War II, in August of 1943, and the location, undeniably, was a high-security military intelligence official location, a place where such an image should never have been captured or kept. Imagine a photograph capturing such an improbable moment, a tangible, physical link to an extraordinary, almost unbelievable claim, stirring the very foundations of accepted reality. Tragically, and perhaps mysteriously, before further copies of this pivotal image could be created and widely disseminated, before its contents could be fully scrutinized by the wider public, Phil Schneider was found dead shortly thereafter. This somber and unsettling event left his last video recording, where he discussed these claims with earnest conviction, and the book itself, as the only surviving witness accounts and pieces of evidence for the picture he possessed, which can still be found and viewed on platforms like YouTube today, a digital ghost of a forgotten truth. Schneider's untimely passing, occurring in such proximity to his controversial revelations, adds a layer of quiet, unsettling gravity to the narrative, deepening its mystery and fueling further speculation. Let us now gently follow the story as it unfolds, according to the accounts meticulously detailed within the book. Val Valiant Thor is said to have landed on a quiet day, March 16, 1957, in Alexandria, Virginia. His craft, of unknown origin and advanced design, touched down in a manner that surely would have drawn immediate and intense attention from local authorities. Two policemen, responding swiftly to the unusual sight of an alien spacecraft, approached the craft, their weapons drawn, a natural and understandable reaction to an unknown and potentially threatening presence. However, the story takes an immediate fantastical turn into the extraordinary. The alien Val Valiant Thor reportedly countered their defensive posture instantly, not with overt force or aggression, but by using advanced techniques described as thought transference. This was essentially a profound and subtle form of mind control, an unseen yet powerful manipulation that caused the policemen to immediately drop their weapons, and astonishingly, to willingly drive him directly to Washington, D.C. This they did, the account states, without any hesitation or visible struggle, their own wills subtly guided and influenced by an unseen external presence, a profound demonstration of his capabilities. This initial display of profound mental influence would not be the last, nor the most significant. The extent of this mind control tactic, it is alleged, would continue to manifest in even more significant and deeply unsettling ways. Val Valiant Thor, utilizing these same persuasive and unseen abilities, would then proceed to manipulate high-ranking military personnel. This subtle, unyielding influence allowed him to pass through multiple layers of high-security posts, gaining unprecedented and unhindered access, first to the Pentagon itself, the very heart of American military power, and then, even more remarkably, to the White House. There, it is said, he was granted an audience with the then President of the United States, the Venerable Dwight D. Eisenhower. It was a meeting, if it occurred precisely as described, that would truly stretch the boundaries of conventional history, remaining a profound secret of the highest order. It was during this unprecedented and highly secretive audience that the aliens' intentions, at least as presented initially, would seemingly shine with an aura of benevolent purpose. Val Valiant Thor made an incredible claim to the President of the United States. He stated that his mission was to come to planet Earth not as a conqueror, not as an invader, but as a selfless benefactor, offering salvation. He proposed to provide humanity with a revolutionary means to grant free energy for all of Earth's residents, an unimaginable boon that would fundamentally revolutionize existence, ending scarcity and pollution. Furthermore, he offered to usher in a new golden age, an era that would work to solve all illnesses, eliminate deformities, alleviate crippling conditions, and so on, promising an end to all human suffering. His promises painted a picture of a utopian future, a world free from pain, want, and disease, a seemingly perfect existence. Though it is noted in the accounts, he never truly described an actual, precise definition as to what he specifically perceived as illnesses or crippling conditions, leaving those crucial details vaguely shimmering in the air, open to interpretation. While many supporters of Val Valiant Thor himself, and indeed of the broader idea of benevolent extraterrestrial intervention, passionately believed this to be a genuine want and a sincere proposition offered for the good of humanity, here we approach this aspect with a gentle, reflective skepticism. Within the accounts, upon closer, calmer examination, there appears to be an increasing, almost overwhelming body of subtle evidence suggesting the contrary. In fact, it slowly becomes apparent, like shadows lengthening in the twilight, that the true intentions of Val Valiant Thor were perhaps far more sinister and profoundly self-serving than his initial grand utopian pronouncements would ever suggest. The most striking and noticeable aspect of these potential sinister means was his blatant, casual disregard for the fundamental human right to free will. All throughout the book and various witness accounts that have been gathered, it talks about how Valiant Thor employed strange techniques rooted in telepathy and mind control. These were not gentle suggestions, but subtle yet profound manipulations used to gain access to high military intelligence, to unlock doors, or to trick unsuspecting individuals into helping him with various tasks and access points that would otherwise be impenetrable. The strange mental tricks he allegedly utilized included making people act as if they were willing slaves to his will, their own autonomy temporarily suspended, their actions not their own. He was also said to have caused people to see odd and vividly detailed hallucinations of all different kinds, weaving illusions directly into their perceptions, blurring the lines of reality. Furthermore, he reportedly possessed the uncanny ability to convince complete strangers to instantly trust him and even to feel deeply attracted to him, particularly as he gave seemingly innocuous lectures at random alien and UFO meetups across the states of Virginia and Washington, D.C., gathering a following without true consent. These tricks and what some might call miracles would only become more and more unsettling in their nature, as the true underlying mission of Valiant Thor began to slowly, quietly come to light, revealing a manipulative core beneath a charismatic facade. Even though this extraterrestrial visitor was a self-proclaimed savior of humanity, ostensibly wanting nothing more than to provide a vaguely advanced technology capable of curing all disease and illnesses, as well as offering the tantalizing promise of free energy, next to no genuine concerted effort was ever truly provided into completing this grand world-changing mission. It was a promise that hung in the air, largely unfulfilled, a grand gesture without tangible follow-through. In fact, when Valiant Thor approached the President of the United States, Dwight D. Eisenhower, and presented his extraordinary life-altering proposition, the President, with remarkable foresight and a deep understanding of human nature, expressed profound reservations and concerns. Eisenhower reportedly articulated that such an immediate, externally gifted bounty of free energy and universal cures could very well cause a significant danger, not just to the established industries of capitalism, as one might first assume, but more importantly, to humanity in general, to the very essence of what makes us human. He offered a profound insight, claiming that the inherent obstacles, the struggles, and even the pain encountered in life are the very driving forces of human nature, the crucible in which we forge our strength and ingenuity. They are what compel us to innovate, to strive, to overcome, to grow, and to define ourselves. If, he reasoned, a supposed perfect peace on earth were to suddenly exist, if all problems were instantaneously solved by an external force, if life became effortlessly perfect, humanity would slowly but surely devolve into a state of stagnation, into nothingness. No great minds, he argued, could truly prosper and solve complex issues if no issues genuinely existed to be solved, if no challenges remained. Essentially, President Eisenhower quietly clarified that if all our help, all our solutions, came effortlessly and without effort from an extraterrestrial force, humanity would effectively be forced into a premature state of perpetual infancy, forever relying solely on extraterrestrial technology, and thus becoming an inherent, perhaps unwitting, slave race to these external benevolent-seeming forces. After hearing this deeply considered and profound response, Valiant Thor, astonishingly, completely redacted his efforts to provide these advanced technologies. He seemed almost perfectly content with not helping humanity, abandoning his initial grand claims with an almost startling lack of persistence or apparent concern for suffering. In fact, upon reflection, the whole proposition began to appear as nothing more than an obvious bluff, a calculated move to gauge reactions, to test the resolve of human leadership, and perhaps to gather intelligence rather than a genuine, heartfelt offer of assistance. It was a subtle, yet powerful deception. Shortly after this significant exchange, Valvaliant Thor then gently shifted his tactics, beginning to try and convince the United States President if he would consider taking him aboard his advanced spaceship and accompanying him back to his claimed home planet of Venus. Eisenhower, with a cautious demeanor and an ever-present sense of duty, then asked Valvaliant Thor where his home planet was specifically and what it was truly like, seeking more concrete details. Valvaliant Thor then replied, with what seemed like serene confidence and an almost hypnotic calm, that his home planet was indeed Venus, the second planet from our sun. He painted a vivid, alluring picture, describing it as a paradise on Earth, filled with beautiful, lush green forests, vibrant ecosystems, and heavenly temperate atmospheres, a world of pure bliss. Of course, at this specific time in history, in the year 1957, no one truly knew what the surface of Venus actually looked like beneath its thick, cloudy, impenetrable veil. And though the planet was generally known to possess a lot of the same basic characteristics as Earth, in terms of its size and general proximity to the Sun, nothing else more concrete or detailed was truly understood about its specific surface conditions or atmospheric composition. The truth, as we know it today through advanced space probes and scientific exploration, is starkly different and profoundly inhospitable. The surface of Venus is a blazing hot, utterly uninhabitable planet, perpetually shrouded in toxic, corrosive clouds, a world more akin to a hellish, volcanic landscape in its appearance than anything Valvaliant Thor claimed it to be. This profound discrepancy, this blatant and easily verifiable falsehood, marked one of the first and most obvious, dishonest statements he would provide, a quiet revelation of deceit beneath a calm, persuasive exterior. Luckily, President Eisenhower, with a discerning mind, perhaps sensing the subtle deception, possessed the wisdom and the prudence to refuse this unusual invitation. Instead, he made a decisive move, acting with the authority of his office, having the extraterrestrial detained, or so it was believed, at the secure headquarters of the Department of Defense, famously known as the Pentagon. This action, however, unexpectedly turned out to be exactly what the enigmatic extraterrestrial visitor was perhaps subtly hoping for. For while many military personnel and government officials were led to believe he was securely contained within the Pentagon's formidable walls, under constant surveillance, many other witness reports quietly discussed personnel seeing Valvaliant Thor roaming freely around the area without supervision, moving unhindered through secure corridors. More alarmingly, there were accounts of him accessing secret military intelligence files, suggesting a freedom of movement and access that completely defied his supposed detention. It was believed by some that Valvaliant Thor was utilizing a nearly supernatural ability, an almost ethereal quality, as many of these witness reports regarded seeing the alien in a strangely ethereal, ghost-like form, wandering unimpeded through walls and closed doors. Yet, when individuals would cautiously enter the room he was supposedly staying in, he would always be found there, calmly acting as if nothing out of the ordinary was going on, his presence always subtly maintained, his demeanor perfectly composed. Shortly after these unsettling occurrences and perplexing stunts, as the implications of his actions grew, it began to become quietly apparent to those observing him that this alien being could not be completely contained by human means. The suspicion grew, like a slow-burning ember in the minds of the military strategists, that he was perhaps acting as an advanced spy, diligently gathering crucial intelligence information for other, unseen extraterrestrial forces. These growing tensions and quiet anxieties reached a subtle climax after the Department of Defense began conducting state-of-the-art testing against the very materials of the clothes Valiant Thor himself had brought to Earth. The materials were described, with a sense of wonder and trepidation, as being completely indestructible in nature, defying all human attempts to damage or even properly analyze them, resisting all forms of scientific inquiry. When Valiant Thor became quietly aware of these tests, of the human attempts to understand and perhaps counter his technology, he merely responded with a knowing snigger, a soft, almost condescending chuckle. He explained, with an unnerving calm and unwavering confidence, that humans were simply not capable of causing any damage to his clothes, nor implicitly to himself. He seemingly laughed off the very idea of being stopped or harmed by human technology, a dismissive gesture of superiority. This nonchalant confidence, however, rather than reassuring, only served to further threaten and profoundly alarm the military officials observing him. The United States general conducting these investigations, a man seemingly immune to Valiant Thor's insidious attempts at mind control, perhaps due to his unwavering resolve, confronted the alien with a resolute calm, refusing to be swayed. The general, with a sharp intellect and a keen understanding of strategic implications, made a few key observations that were both brilliant and deeply unsettling. He brought up the fact that it seemed more than a little peculiar, a matter of curious and deliberate timing, that Valiant Thor would choose to make his appearance only after the invention, and critically, the successful use of the nuclear weapon by humanity. It was a subtle yet profound implication, suggesting a calculated response to a new human capability. The general then calmly clarified that even though modern conventional weapons were indeed incapable of damaging the alien's clothes or the extraterrestrial himself, he was more than aware of how an atom bomb fundamentally works. He explained, with quiet precision, how such a weapon not only annihilates all matter in its immediate vicinity, but that, due to the neutrino bombardment it creates, atoms themselves are split apart at their very core, dissolving the very fabric of existence. This was, in essence, a chilling and profound threat, a quiet declaration that if no other weapon could harm him, then an atomic bomb, by destroying the very atomic structure, surely could. The general then made a rather brilliant and deeply insightful connection, a strategic leap of understanding. It appeared to him, he stated with calm conviction, that extraterrestrials were now only getting involved in human affairs, or rather, making their presence known in such a direct way as a calculated ploy to gather crucial military intelligence. Their true motivation, he hypothesized, was born not from benevolence, but from a sudden profound fear, the fear of humanity's newfound ability to now stand a chance in a fight against a technologically superior force. The advent of nuclear weapons had perhaps leveled the playing field in a way that had previously been unimaginable to them, sparking a desperate and urgent need for intelligence gathering, for understanding this new, dangerous human power. Valiant Thor, in response to this astute observation, then chillingly confirmed his sinister orders, not with aggression, but with a detached, almost scientific precision. He did so not only by calmly clarifying that there were, in fact, other extraterrestrial beings already deeply infiltrated within the United States, a precise number, he stated, of 77 others, a chillingly specific count, but that even more were walking amongst the human race, subtly integrated into societies all across the world. This number, he added with a quiet, unsettling certainty, would only continue to grow in the coming years, steadily expanding their unseen presence, their quiet influence, their hidden agenda. This revelation, if truly accurate in its entirety, wholeheartedly proves the potential for sinister extraterrestrial intention against the human race. It paints a picture of a silent, ongoing infiltration, a strategic gathering of information that poses a profound existential challenge, and it suggests, with an overwhelming sense of gravity and quiet alarm, that the threat of these alien visitors as a national security safety concern is indeed profound and overwhelming in nature, far beyond mere science fiction, demanding our quiet contemplation and vigilance. As we gently bring this extraordinary narrative to a close, dear listener, we are left with many quiet thoughts and reflections. These stories, whether they be of ancient stones whispering of forgotten ages, of a solitary creator's imagined cosmos, of silent sentinels beneath the waves, or of cosmic visitors charting unknown paths through the corridors of power, serve to broaden our understanding of possibility. They invite us to consider the world, and indeed the universe, with a sense of wonder and an openness to what might lie just beyond the veil of our current perception, always encouraging us to look a little deeper, to listen a little more closely to the whispers of the unknown. As our journey through these quiet mysteries softly draws to a close, and the echoes of ancient civilizations, hidden wonders, and cosmic encounters begin to gently fade from your mind, I invite you now to simply let these thoughts dissolve into the gentle stillness of the night. You have traveled through tales of profound human dedication, of historical revisions and ancient deceptions, of forgotten ages and cataclysmic events, and of whispers from beyond our world. Each story, each discovery, has been a thread woven into a tapestry of wonder, designed not to awaken but to soothe, to gently calm the active mind. Feel the quiet warmth and comforting softness of your bed, the gentle, unwavering support beneath you as you surrender to its embrace. Allow